Aloha. Do you drive around our islands and question where the names of our streets ever come from? Well, that's why we have our weekly Aloha Authentic to help answer that question and share the mo'olelo behind the given names of our local streets. This month, we're visiting English named streets, and this week, we visit a downtown Honolulu street to highlight a name of a Hawaiian princess and her husband. In the Ahupua'a of Nu'uanu, which lies in the moku of Kona here on Oahu, holds a street that might not make much sense in today's world, but did back in the day. We're talking about Hotel Street in downtown Honolulu. Today, running from A'ala Park through Chinatown and leading to the grounds of Iolani Palace and the state capitol, Hotel Street runs through many small businesses and restaurants. But back in the 1800s, Hotel Street got its name because of the hotels that were established. For example, opening February 29th of 1871 as the Hawaiian Hotel, and later adding the word Royal to become the first Royal Hawaiian Hotel. This hotel was built by the Kingdom of Hawaii, and the word Royal was added to give a more regal flair to the establishment. This business closed its doors after competition grew in the area, which led to the building to be renovated and reopened as the Army Navy YMCA, then completely razed in December 1926 and replaced with the new Armed Forces YMCA building. Did you know? Now you do.
I didn't know.
I thought this was a very interesting one because, you know, growing up, we always hear about Hotel Street, not thinking, it's so common sense, hotels must have been here.
Right, and then, I mean, not only that, but when you think the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, you think, you know,
that
the
I didn't know there was
so
a first one.
The first one, then, where was that located exactly?
So today it stands as the Hawaii State Arts Foundation building. I think that's the flow of it, but it's the white building right next to the courthouse in downtown Honolulu and across the street from the state capitol.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. Wow, so that was the first ever
That's the location of the
Royal
first
Hawaiian
ever.
Hotel.
So if you look at old pictures, you can definitely, it's a different building, but it's kind of built in the same architectural style. So you can kind of see the similarities.
Interesting. Okay, so when was the second one built then?
The second one, which opened, of course, we know that in Waikiki, on February 1st of 1927. And that was, you know, everybody knows it as this pink hotel on the streets. And I don't want to give too much away in this segment as we're going to have a Waikiki historian coming up in our next segment, Uncle Joe Reka, to share more information about that.
Okay, and I've heard many times that the Moana Hotel was the first hotel. One, is that true? And two, when exactly did they open?
So that was something a surprise to me too, because growing up, that's what we're always told.
Yeah.
Moana Hotel was the first successful hotel, but also the first like a resort style hotel. There was a bunch of hotels previous, I mean, in downtown Honolulu on the shores of Waikiki, but before that they were also known as either bathhouses or longhouses. Bathhouses was really those that you just go in, you can change your clothes, use the bathroom or whatever for that particular day. Then came longhouses where you can actually stay overnight, and then that's when this whole resort, more hotels that we know today, came about.
Interesting. So on Hotel Street then, back in the day, were there more hotels?
There were, you know, for example, the Royal Hawaiian Hotel was dealing with the competition of what they call the Alexander Young Hotel, and that started to change the competition within downtown Waikiki, downtown Honolulu. But also during the World War II era, there was a bunch of brothels along that street. And interesting thing, I didn't know this as well, all the sailors who were coming through the islands for the war, of course Hawaii is like the middle stop for everything in the Pacific. Well, they had to, there was no women, so the men had to relieve themselves somehow, and all these brothels were the location where these men would line the streets, and there's pictures that I came across that literally sailors across the street to go to a brothel that had a prostitute, and they would $3 a minute for $3 for 3 minutes. How's that? Pretty interesting.
Very interesting.
So that was a big thing.
Hotel Street. Very cool. Good to know. All right, well, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, and you have a second segment coming up?
Uncle Joe Reka is going to be sharing with us, of course, more history on Waikiki and our hotels in Waikiki.
Perfect. All right.
Aloha mai and welcome back. Earlier in our Aloha Authentic segment, we learned a little bit about Hotel Street in downtown Honolulu and the first Royal Hawaiian Hotel. And to help learn more about the history of Royal Hawaiian Hotel, which we know in Waikiki, we have a very special guest joining us in the studio this morning, Uncle Joe Reka, who is a Waikiki historian. Good morning, Uncle Joe.
Mahalo.
Thank you very much for taking the time and educating all of us.
Trying to.
So first and foremost, we already kind of talked about Royal Hawaiian Hotel in Waikiki, and the first question that comes to my mind is that random color of pink. Where does that come from?
Well, the builder, or one of the builders, William Roth, who was the son-in-law of the president of Matson Steamship Company, had dear friends that lived right down the beach, Kimo and Kina'u Wilder. They were both artistes. One was a sculptor, one a painter. They traveled and fell in love with the hillsides of Portugal. The homes there are painted pink with turquoise shutters. When they came home, their beach cottage down a ways from the hotel is painted those colors. And when it was time to paint, he asked, "Can I use those colors?" And as you can see, their answer was yes.
But I mean, it works in the sense that everybody knows exactly what hotel you're talking about. So, of course, there's Royal Hawaiian Hotel we talked about, but one of the first that everybody talks about being the first hotel in Waikiki is Moana Hotel.
Yes, it is.
Can you share a little bit of history behind that?
Well, before that, there was the Long Branch. It was a bathhouse. It had a 200-foot plume. People used to pay 5 cents to take off and land way out 75 feet up in the air. But then they built this in March of 1911. Now, it's March 11th, 1901. This is the oldest. And the front part, the main lobby was built, and then 15 years later, the wings were added.
Now, this is the hotel that Hawaii Calls had recorded from, correct?
Yes, my uncles, of the Bright family, my mom's brothers, entertained with Al Kealoha Perry, along with Webley Edwards, there on the stage at the Moana Hotel back in the 30s.
And that's where, for their introduction, they actually walked up to the ocean to catch the sound for the introduction?
Yeah, the sound guy used to take the corded mic all the way to the shore. And I used to joke, after telling the people that part of history, I said, we lost more sound guys that way. And one time there was a wife of one of those guys that did that back in the 30s. He had since passed. But she raised her hand, this little Japanese lady, and said, "My husband did that." I said, "Oh, I'm just, That was
Give big props. I mean, it shows us how fortunate we are with technology today, wireless and all that stuff. Well, thank you very much, Uncle Joe. We really appreciate it, and I'm very honored to have you in the studio, and there's nobody better to learn about Waikiki than you. So,
thank you.
Mahalo nui. And of course, so you do tours, Waikiki tours, correct?
Yes, with NAHA.
NAHA. So,
Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association.
All right. Well, if you're interested to get that, make sure you go to naha.org.